Oh, yeah. Well, here we go. We got the oh yeah, look at here. We got the dual pizza pies, two pizza pies. Look at that. Look at that nice pizza pies. Oh yeah. Look at that. 8 slices plus another 8 slices brings it up to 16 slices. And these are $5 a slice because these are just regular cheese pizzas, so they're $5 a slice. If you want toppings, it's $7 and $8 a slice, depending on what toppings you want. $8 a slice. New York City pizza pies, $5 a slice. So do the math. 8 and 8 is 16 slices. 5 times 16 equals what? Oh, yeah. Let's see here. 40 and 40, so 80 bucks plus tax. 80 bucks plus tax. And if you get it delivered to your house, that's extra. It's always a little extra. Look at that. Nice pizza pie. It's nice. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Look at that crust. Look at those bubbles. Mmm. Those bubbles are delicious. Oh, yeah. Look at that nice cheese, nice bread. It's nice and hot, too. Oh, yeah. Yummy for the tummy. Yummy for the tummy. Nice pizza pies. Oh, yeah. Let's cut this up here. Oh, yeah, we got to get the view here. So we can see what's going on. This is a failed broadcast. My tripod does not want to cooperate with me today. right here. This is a failed broadcast so far. Now we finally got the tripod to cooperate. Failed broadcast so far. Oh, now we got the acoustical feedback here. Let's see. Let's go apply the filters. Yeah, so we got the two pizza pies going on here. All right, see that? Pizza pie number 1. And pizza pie number 2. How do we get you to see number 2? See, there's number 2. Is this tripod going to hold or is it going to collapse again? All right, let it hold there. Now let's start eating these pizza pies. Start eating them before they get cold. So we got 16 slices at $5 a slice. $80 plus tax. Plus tax and plus shipping. If you want to deliver it to your house, you got to pay for shipping. You got to pay a delivery charge. So this can this pizza can cost very easily $100 for 16 slices. See the magical artwork on the box? Look at this nice slice. This is great pizza. And look at this. I got 2 boxes. Not 8 slices, but 16 slices. I got 16 slices of pie. 16 slices of pie. Look at the nice slices. See that? They're nice. Oh, yeah. Ugh. Oh, yeah, look at this. These are some nice slices. $5 a slice plus tax and plus the delivery. The delivery charge. We got 2 pies. Not one, but 2. 2 16 slices. Yeah, which slice should we take from here? We gotta take a slice from here. Oh, we'll take this one. This is the other pie. Let's see, how many slices can we eat? Well, we ate 4 slices so far. And now we got 2 more on the plate here. We ate 4 slices, now we're eating 5 and 6. I always start to get full on the fifth slice. Sometimes I make it to the sixth, but sometimes I can't get past the fifth slice. So it really depends what day it is and how hungry I'm feeling. Yeah, we're struggling to the fifth and sixth slice. Oh boy, starting to get really full. Well, I ate half of the fifth slice, half of the sixth slice, so I guess that's 5 slices. And I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm full. I'm stuck. I got gases. We got gases. We got gases. Now we're gonna chew this piece by piece. Well, this is the 6th slice. I'm really struggling. With the 6th slice. And I got 16 slices here because we got double pizzas. See that? Double pizzas. We got two large pizzas. 21 inches each. 21 inches each. 2 large pizza pies. See that? 1 and 2. So 16 slices is a no-go because this is the 6th slice. And I'm just barely able to push my way through it. These are $5 a slice, by the way. This is a regular cheese pizza with extra cheese. IG Boo. You missed You missed 40 minutes of the show. Yeah, look at this. By the way, this is my sixth slice, and I'm struggling with it. This is what I ate from one pie. I ate 1, 2, 3. I ate three slices from this pie. And from this pie, I also ate 3 slices. I gotta start. What I do is I pick out the best slices and I eat them first. I ate the best slices first. So this is the 6th slice, and I'm just barely able. I can't even finish it. I can't even finish it. I OD'd on my $5 a slice pizza. $5 a slice because this is extra cheese. This is cheese slice. And the sausage and pepperoni slices are $7 and $8. They go for all kinds of crazy prices in New York City. And then you got to pay the tax man, and then you got to pay the if you want it delivered. If you don't like going out and carrying your pizza outside, and you got to go pay. You got to pay the delivery fee. Either Uber Eats or DoorDash or you got to pay the delivery guy, the delivery service. So this easily is $100. This is $100 of pizzas. 2 large 21-inch pizza pies, $100 with delivery and tax. Yeah, you don't want this because this is too much food. This is too much food for me, and I was hungry. I was hungry, and all I could eat was 5 slices and 3/4. I'm still forcing my way to finish the 6th slice here. Yeah, how many inches is a medium? How many inches? Because this pie is 21 inches. This is a 21-inch pie. I'm so full. Let me drink some refresher here. 12-inch pie all for yourself, or you're going to split that? So you got to eat that whole pie for yourself, huh? Yeah, you got to put that. You got to put that in the refrigerator right after you eat it. So don't leave it out. Don't leave it out for a couple hours. You got to put that right in the refrigerator. And you should cover it. You should cover it with if you have paper plates. You should use the paper plates and cover the top of the pizza so that way it doesn't. The cold air doesn't make it hard and crusty. Yep, that's it. I can't eat no more. That's it. That's it. I'm officially full. I gave up on five and three-quarter slices. I couldn't finish the sixth slice. That's it. I folded, I gave up, that's it. Now I gotta take the magic potion. I gotta take the magic potion. I'll be back. Oh, yeah. We are back. We're gonna have to readjust the camera angle here, so bear with me. Did you order your Domino's pizza yet? People begging for food. You hear that? You hear that, Jibu? People are begging for food.
Clean water systems have been corrupted. Once the safe places that you could go and get something safe to drink, once that's been contaminated, even as the decay in the bodies and the animals and other things are contributing to all of this, and I don't mean to be unnecessarily alarmist, but the amount of bacteria that is going going to be setting in to everything as these waters recede is going to be a life-threatening danger itself in these moments.
Look at all these colors. We got all these colors here.
That much. That's why what you're providing by way of food that is able to be eaten in a healthy manner and digested. These are all the things that we may not think about here in America when a storm passes, because we buckle down. We wait till the rain goes away, and then we go get in our car and we drive to the store and get the stuff we need again. That's the furthest thing from this reality that can be thought of.
Yeah, you're talking about 40 inches of rain, more than 2 feet of rain on average in communities. Well, where is that rain coming from? It's coming from, polluted water systems. It's coming from the sewer systems that have been raising up into the communities and rushing its way into homes. All you have to do is just think back to Hurricane Katrina and what we saw in the devastation in New Orleans. Now, imagine that in Jamaica, across an entire island nation that does not have the safety nets that we have in this country. There is no National Guard responding to these communities. They're not rushing in on these pontoon boats and tanks. There's just you and your compassion through the partnership of the local church that Food for the Poor has been working with for more than 4 decades. We need you right now. And my voice sounds a bit urgent right now because it's personal for us here at Food for the Poor. It's personal for me, Paul Jacobs, because my family, our communities, our pastor friends are there. They're waiting for an answer, and you could be that answer right now.
855-907-4673, 855-907-4673. Friends, it's almost impossible to help you understand the immensity of this catastrophe, but Jamaica as a country has never seen anything like before. It is the biggest hurricane to come into they get a real good transition. The best teams in the league off the rush, they lead the. You look at your face and say, why would he say that, or why would she say that? Knowing what I just came through, knowing what I just almost lost, or what have you. Knowing I almost lost my job, my family, and whatever, you're going to tell me to take a drink. Well, that's not your friend talking to you at that time. That's the enemy.
Food stamps are not all back. Not all back. There's people still whining and complaining about not having their food stamps.
If you don't have a connection with Jesus Christ, if you don't have that relationship with Christ, where the Holy Spirit in you, and you'll be able to recognize, because you'll know, because you read the Bible, and you'll know that, hey, this is not my friend talking to me, because my friend wouldn't tell me this. So in other words, you say, well, you won't get mad with your friend. You don't feel your friend trying to deceive you. You don't feel your friend is trying to. You understand what King Solomon said. Understanding the best thing in the world. So you understand through the Holy Spirit in you that this is the devil talking to me. This is the enemy trying to deceive me to get me to drink it again. And he's using my best friend to do that. You got to investigate that spirit. Because you'll be deceived and misled.
And you've been listening to Mitch. That's Mitchell Rutledge. And he has spent almost his entire grown life in various Alabama penitentiaries. And I got to know him over this year through these series of conversations. I felt the deep pull on my heart for you to get to know him too. His story of redemption, of forgiveness. It's remarkable. When we come back, more with our Sunday Mornings with Big Mitch series, episode 4, here on Our American Stories.
Our American Stories on 710 WOR.
Dr. Halbert here. Are you tired of standing in front of the pay now wondering which product really works? That's exactly why I invented Blue Stop. It took me 10 years to perfect Blue Stop's unique and effective formula. As a surgeon, I saw how stiff joints, sore muscles, and body aches kept too many people from enjoying life. Blue Stop works fast, absorbs quick, and smells great. No prescription, no waiting. It's on the shelf right now at Walmart. Feel the difference.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Clay Travis here. If you think you need a new roof, think again. Roof Max is a game changer. Roof rejuvenation. Got black streaks, rough patches, or shedding granules? Your roof's calling for help. 9 out of 10 roofs can be rejuvenated at a fraction of the cost of a replacement. Roof Max can extend its life by up to 15 years. Just dial 1-855-ROOF MAX for your free evaluation. Mention Clay and Buck for an exclusive offer. Roof Max, saving you money and headaches, one roof at a time. The actors you stream, the dancers you follow, the singers who light up Broadway. They all started somewhere. AMDA College of the Performing Arts is where talent becomes a career. You could train with industry professionals at our campuses in New York City and in Hollywood. It's your turn to take the stage. Go to amda.edu and schedule your scholarship audition today. That's amda.edu. AMDA College of the Performing Arts, where artists create.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I get those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real. And I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-249-2755. That's 800-249-2755. 800-249-2755.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Black Friday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable.
I wrote it, and when that album came out in the UK, yes, sir, the family protested.
I mean, hey, minus. And up until that point, it wasn't. Action to when Sam Garrett dropped the gloves with Matthew Olivier late in the
transition have already raked in nearly $13,000. That is far more than Mayor Adams and former Mayor Bill de Blasio earned with their transition funds, each with just over 800 donors. Mamdani's campaign drew a record number of voters to the polls and saw an unprecedented amount of people volunteering to canvass.
The excitement comes from what this moment means for so many New Yorkers. New Yorkers come out and vote that we've seen in decades, and to see the politics has been for the last few years, that it can actually mean a way to address the needs of working-class New Yorkers.
That's Mamdani speaking on ABC 7 up close with Bill Ritter. The 34-year-old state assemblyman will become the youngest New York mayor in more than a century come January 1st. He will also be the first Muslim mayor of New York City. The funds raised by the transition will primarily support hiring and retaining staff responsible for building out the new administration. Wednesday News Time 646.
Have you been discriminated or retaliated against at work based on your race, gender, pregnancy, sexual orientation, disability, medical leave, or whistleblower status? Have you been sexually harassed by a bad boss or coworker, or been cheated out of pay or overtime wages? The law firm of Kleiman Ginsburg fights for employees like you who have been treated unfairly in the workplace and will aggressively fight to get you the compensation you deserve. If you believe you are a victim of discrimination, been sexually harassed, or have been wrongfully terminated, give Kleinman Ginsburg a call now for a free consultation. The law firm of Kleinman Ginsburg only gets paid if you get paid. Call 8778-JOB-LAW. That's 8778-JOB-LAW. Or call the employment lawyers at Kleinman Ginsburg now at 8778-JOB-LAW. That's 8778-JOB-LAW. Call 8778-JOB-LAW today.
Flushing, making it loud and clear, the massive turnout for the community rally against billionaire Steve Cohen's Metropolitan Park Casino project. The cry from Flushing residents is clear. Billionaires can't buy us. We don't need a casino! Anti-casino advocates furious when State Senator John Liu initially opposed the plan, later giving Mets owner Steve Cohen the green light. Now Fulton here emceed the rally.
Senator Liu, I tell you, without you, this casino would already be dead. This is a betrayal to Flushing, to your people, to your community. You must publicly apologize for what you have done.
Jessica lives in Queens and says she's
confused, disappointed. We're not asking politicians to be perfect. We're just not asking them to be hypocrites.
Amanda Alexander, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in Flushing, Queens. It was a hellish experience for two girls who were home alone during a string of Long Island burglaries. Police say 18-year-old Irvin Brenner, 20-year-old Jason Jaya, and 19-year-old GM Cardenas, all of Queens, along with a 17-year-old, were charged for their roles in at least two robberies. Each of them pleaded not guilty. First robbery happened September 25th in Manhattan in the middle of the afternoon. A week later, on October 2nd, the defendants are accused of forcibly entering a home in Jericho, also in broad daylight. Inside that home were a 13-year-old girl and her 9-year-old sister. The father had just left to get something from the store when he got an alert through his security system that there was an intruder. Inside, the 13-year-old screamed and fought back, stopping them from taking her phone while she tried to call her dad. Now, since this happened, residents have started a neighborhood watch. Newly released dash cam video sheds light on a Seattle police pursuit that looked like a scene from the movies.
It starts when police try to pull over an Audi Q5 with stolen plates. And the car takes off.
Northbound.
It heads to the University Bridge, which is open and in the process of lowering again for vehicle traffic.
Stop here, over there.
But the car does not stop. Dash cam video showing it crash through the arms of the safety gate.
You actually made the jump over the bridge.
The car lands hard on the other side. Officers later find it damaged and abandoned.
Heather Bosch with that report. He faked his death, moved to Spain, and now has been caught 4 years later. One of Ecuador's most wanted drug traffickers was captured today. Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa said Wilmer Chavarria, also known as Pipo, was captured in a joint operation with Spanish police. Chavarria is believed to be the leader of Los Lobos, a drug trafficking group with around 8,000 fighters that was recently designated a terrorist organization by the U.S. Los Lobos has been linked to a political assassination in Ecuador and has also been accused of working closely with Mexico's Jalisco New Generation cartel. Noboa said Chavarria faked his death in 2021 during the COVID pandemic, got a new identity, moved to Spain, from where he coordinated drug shipments, ordered assassinations, and ran extortion rackets against gold mines in Ecuador. Wednesday News Time 650, traffic and AccuWeather in just a minute on 1010 Wins.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of...
How's your pizza going, G-Boo? Did you get your pizza yet?
Naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Treats here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame.
Did you order it already?
Food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Treats. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days.
I was going to ask you while you're here, how do you see this image? Do you see this image all right? That I colored? Do you see it better than before?
First ever holiday lighting ceremony. We'll tell you about that first. Wednesday time, 6:51. Let's get you where you need to go. Jeff Jensen.
It's a rough go trying to get to the city. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. 45-minute ride from all the different approaches to the upper and lower levels of the Georgia, especially up 95 and 46. Route 4 and the Palisades might be a little bit.
All right, go order your pizza.
So slow, especially up the Crossroads and the Deegan. The Lincoln, 25 minutes in, same thing about half-hour, not that bad. Jam to Staten Island. Avoid the Gothels. Take the outer bridge. It's definitely a ride for you there. Crash on the Parkway North and right away 137 takes out one lane. Some slowdowns continue in Brooklyn on the BQE, pretty much both ways as you travel into Atlantic Avenue. More slow traffic in the outbound Gowanus approaching 38th Street. Here's what we see on Long Island's B3. Really not too bad a ride. A couple things cleared on the LIE. We're better near down the rate of 36, like the crashes on the shoulder. Northern State and Southern State Parkways are both moving along at a decent pace. This report sponsored by Handel's Messiah at the New Jersey Symphony. Jeff Jensen, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Now let's check on your official 1010 winds AccuWeather forecast. The windy one out there today. You can really feel the temperature difference. Meteorologist Matt.
Yeah, those temperatures dropping here all afternoon. Gusts of over 50 miles per hour across many locations across tri-state here for today. Winds will diminish a bit here for tonight, but still breezy at least till later on tonight. Low at 38, and that's a big deal because that wind will help to produce a much colder feeling out there. The AccuWeather real field temperature will be falling into the 20s. So bundle up out the door for tomorrow morning. Otherwise, partly sunny. Windy again for tomorrow. Not nearly as windy as today, though. High 45. Tuesday, mix of clouds and sun. High 48. And still cool for Wednesday. Some sun. High 49. Right now, it's 44 degrees in Central Park with relative humidity at 34%. Repeating, the current temperature is 44, falling down to 38 tonight in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Matt Benz on New York's weather station. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-595-1395. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-595-1395. That's 800-595-1395. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This holiday season, gift a gift of music with New Jersey Symphony. From movie concerts like Elf and Star Wars to iconic classics like Handel's Messiah and Beethoven's Fifth to special guests like Ben Folds. There's something for everyone. Get details and tickets today at njsymphony.org. For the first time since opening in 2019, the Vessel is hosting a holiday lighting ceremony set for tomorrow. The celebration will mark the start of Shine Bright at Hudson Yards, the neighborhood's annual tradition, turning the west side into a wave of twinkling lights. The lighting, which will be held at 6:45 p.m. in the Public Square and Gardens, is free and open to the public. Iconic LED elephant, the beloved mascot of the New York Liberty, is even scheduled to pop up. Roughly 2 million lights will be flipped on this week, taking over the complex, wrapping trees, terraces, and the 150-foot vessel in gold. Speaking of the holidays, it's less than 2 weeks ago until Black Friday. Many of America's largest retailers are already rolling out some early holiday deals to try to entice you to start your shopping season early.
Walmart just kicked off its first of 3 Black Friday events, and Walmart Plus members actually get early access. So you'll find thousands of gifts under $20, and the big brands too, like Apple, Levi's, and Lego. Target is getting in on that action too with doorbuster deals, and Amazon is also rolling out daily drops all month long. If you see a solid deal on something that you know that you'll need, experts say grab it. Inventory can go pretty fast.
Correspondent Morgan Norwood. We've got a wind advisory now in effect for the entire listening area, so the tri-state until 1 a.m. Tonight, we become partly cloudy, still breezy, low 38. AccuWeather real feels drop us into the 20s. Then tomorrow, partly sunny, windy, colder, a high of just 45. But real feels take us back into the 30s. Wednesday's time, 6:56. Now Bloomberg Money Watch. It's being called one of the biggest talent poaches since the peak of the streaming wars. Sources tell Bloomberg Taylor Sheridan, the TV and movie producer behind Yellowstone and Tulsa King, plans to join Comcast NBC Universal when his contract with Paramount Skydance expires at the end of 2028.
Taylor Sheridan is the most successful and sought after creator in television today, right? Everything he's touched has worked, and he is prolific.
Bloomberg's Lucas Shaw, author of the Screen Time newsletter, says Sheridan will make movies for Universal Pictures as well as content for NBC and the Peacock streaming service.
I'd say it's maybe a bigger loss for Paramount than a gain for Universal, just because it's hard to overstate how important he's been for the streaming service. Other than football from CBS, like, all of his shows are the most watched shows on that service.
The new contract will take effect in January 2029. I'm Karen Moscow, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
At Bank of America, we're proud that more than 20,000 veterans and people with military backgrounds have joined our ranks since 2015. Now we're committed to adding 10,000 more over the next 5 years. By helping veterans achieve their career goals, we're moving from appreciation to action. And together, helping expand economic opportunity across America. Visit bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Proud to be an equal opportunity employer. New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games are the perfect gift for everyone on your list.
Like me, your Aunt Jewels.
Recent days has essentially said that balancing the budget on an annual basis, this is after debt servicing sorted out, is no longer going to be their prime yardstick.
Days, but she says she's...
Percent or more the size of the economy in terms of Japan's national debts. And so what Takaichi is doing is she's saying, no, don't look at the gross debt against GDP figure, look at the net debt against GDP figure. Because if you look at those, Japan's got a lot of assets. The figures look a lot better. I mean, they're still not great. We're still talking like 130% net debt against GDP. But you're back much closer to the other G7 nations if you use that yardstick.
Paul, we'll leave it there. Thank you so very much. Paul Jackson, he covers the economies of Japan and South Korea from our bureau in Tokyo. I'm Doug Krisner. You can catch us weekdays here for the Daybreak Asia podcast. It's available wherever you get your podcast. Nathan?
Thanks, Doug. And that does it for this edition of Bloomberg Daybreak Weekend. Join us again Monday morning at 5 a.m. Wall Street time for the latest on markets overseas and the news you need to start your day. I'm Nathan Hager. Stay with us. Top stories and global business headlines are coming up right now.
From the financial capital of the world, 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com and the Bloomberg Business app. This is WBBR New York, Bloomberg 1130. Coming up, the latest market-moving headlines from Bloomberg. First, an update from our partners at CBS News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. I'm Peter King. The USS Gerald Ford Carrier Group is in the Caribbean on what the Trump administration says is a drug interdiction mission. Correspondent Charlie Daggett is in San Juan.
The largest and most advanced warship in the world is now in America's most active battle zone. On board 4 dozen F-18 fighter jets, along with technology to jam radars on potential bombing runs. In St. Croix, we saw firsthand how the fort's presence is adding to a buildup of military assets already on patrol in the Caribbean.
CBS's Willie James Inman says Donald Trump's latest target still supports him.
Days after President Trump announced he is withdrawing his support for Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Georgia Republican says she still supports the president.
And I do support him and his administration.
Appearing on CNN's State of the Union, Greene said she remains loyal to the president even after she pushes for the Justice Department to all of the remaining case files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
I believe the country deserves transparency in these files, and I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong.
That was expected Tuesday. Homeland Security officials say Border Patrol agents have made close to 100 arrests of illegal immigrants in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend. CBS's Chanel Cole.
Commander Gregory Bovino is leading the crackdown after spearheading Border Patrol efforts in Chicago and Los Angeles. In a social media post, he said many of those arrested had criminal and immigration history.
As drones become more popular, there are worries about the becoming saturated. Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll on CBS's Face the Nation.
We are trying to design a system so that Americans are able to fly drones, so that commercial companies like Amazon, like the future of delivery in a lot of ways is commercial drones. And so we will just have to deconflict the skies working with the FAA.
From San Francisco, Odyssey's Jack Ferris says hemp advocates fear the non-renewal of a farm bill will put them out of business.
The 2018 Farm Bill put plenty of restrictions on cannabis, but not so much hemp. Was companies were taking a Sharpie and crossing out cannabis and writing hemp packaging, and all of a sudden it was legal. That's Jared Kylo, president of the United Cannabis Business Association. This week, the House made sure to close that loophole, cracking down on hemp effective next November. The reality is since there were so many bad actors, I think what happened was the pendulum swung too far in the other direction.
This is CBS News. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer. Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from? Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I don't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Just days after the U.S. stopped minting pennies, a Northeast supermarket chain has been hosting a double exchange day today. Price Chopper inviting customers to bring in loose or wrapped pennies in exchange for a gift card worth twice the value of those cents. The limit, $100 in pennies for a $200 gift card. Well, who or what should interview you for your next job?
Would you walk away from a job that the interview was led by artificial intelligence? Part-time British comedian Richard Stott did, and his reply went viral.
I'm afraid I don't accept that. Interviewing me in person isn't worth the company's time, and the role isn't worth mine.
Stott drew the line, calling it disrespectful.
Rather than rolling over and saying it's going to be inevitable, how about we question whether it's right?
The story is hitting a nerve, and employers are trying to strike the right balance between technology and human interaction when hiring. Brad Gibson for CBS News.
And I'm Peter King, CBS News.
Markets, headlines, and breaking news 24 hours a day at Bloomberg.com, Bloomberg Television, and the Bloomberg Business app. This is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York, I'm Doug Krisner. Let's update top stories. And market action will begin in Japan, where the economy contracted for the first time in 6 quarters in Q3. We're talking about negative 1.8%. That's on an annualized basis. It was better than what analysts had been forecasting. They were looking at a negative 2.4%. Now, this is the result of less private residential investment as well as a drop in exports, and it comes as new Minister Takeichi is preparing some major stimulus. Right now, a bit of weakness in the yen, not much, 154.65. We're down about a tenth of 1%, and in the equity market in Tokyo, the Nikkei is weaker by a half of 1%. And we're looking at Bitcoin struggling a bit after dropping below its closing level of 2024. That happened earlier in Sunday trading, and with that drop, Bitcoin's gain since the beginning of the year of 30% was wiped out. It was just a month ago that Bitcoin had reached an all-time high. Right now, 94,120, picking up just about 0.7%. So the key event this week will be the quarterly earnings from NVIDIA. And the government, meantime, is still working to reschedule economic releases impacted by the shutdown. Plenty of markets to look for in the week ahead. We have a preview from Bloomberg's Karen Moscow.
The week begins with a report on Empire Manufacturing and comments from Fed Governor Christopher Waller, as well as New York Fed President John Williams. Tuesday, we get earnings from Home Depot, and Wednesday, NVIDIA. Market expectations are high after NVIDIA recently became the first company to hit a $5 trillion market cap. The Fed also releases minutes from its October meeting, shedding light on an unusual split among policymakers after a decision to cut rates by a quarter point. Thursday, we get existing home sales and earnings from Walmart, and consumer sentiment is out on Friday. Karen Moscow, Bloomberg Radio.
We check markets for you throughout the day here on Bloomberg. We've got a rally underway in Seoul. The Kospi is up 1.6%, and in Sydney, the ASX 200 is down about a tenth of 1%. Global news 24 hours a day, and whenever you with Bloomberg News Now. This is Bloomberg.
Now, a sports update on Bloomberg 1130.
Giants blow a late lead again to Jordan Love and the Packers. 27-20 they lose at MetLife. Jets' Chris Boyd is in critical condition. He was shot a little after 2 a.m. in Midtown Manhattan. Jets and Giants are a combined 4-17. Nets have opened it up to a double-digit lead late second quarter from Washington. Both teams a dismal 1-11. Rangers away in Detroit. Isles visit the Avs at 9. It's your Bloomberg Sports Update. I'm Rob Bushka.
This is Wall Street Week. I'm David Weston, bringing you stories of capitalism, playing dice with the universe, the strange new world of quantum computing, and how it may change our lives even more than AI. Plus, coming to terms with growing older and lower interest rates. As Western nations face growing problems providing for the elderly, we take a look at the largest set of pension assets in Europe and why the Dutch are changing the way they invest those assets. And turning concerns about data center energy consumption into a way to heat our houses. That's what they're doing in Finland. But we start with banking and how regulators in Europe and the United States are taking increasingly different approaches, creating both opportunities and challenges for Ana Botín, executive chairman of Spain's leading bank, Santander. Banco Santander has had a big year. Give us a sense of how big a year it's been.
It's been a great year. Our numbers will be totally on track to deliver all the numbers in our 3-year plan. And again, in 25, we're going to reach our profitability, 16.5%. And for shareholders, great value creation, increasing dividend per share. Our share price is up 100%. But there's still a lot of inherent value in our stock. Our multiples are still very attractive compared to U.S. banks, for example, trading at a bit under 10 times price earnings. And we deserve a premium to Europe and I would say even to the U.S. banks because our profitability is getting better and we have growth.
What were the main drivers of the success you had this year?
So I say it's an overnight success, 10 years in the making. So since I took over, I inherited a group of banks. It was a big bank, but many different geographies, different business models, very disconnected. And the whole vision is to bring them all together under a single open financial services platform. And that's what we have been working on. So this year, every single one of our 5 businesses is growing. We have simplified the organization. We sold Poland. We bought in the UK, so our UK business now is at scale. And this is really the opportunity at Santander. We have profitable for many years organically.
Santander succeeded in of its Polish unit this year, while other European banks, including Unicredit and BBVA, had a tough time getting deals done.
As you say, you sold Poland, you bought in the UK. There were other banks in Europe that tried to do transactions this year that didn't go so well. How come you got it done?
Well, the trade of Poland just cross-border M&A in Europe in a decade. And in today's world, where governments defend their countries and, regulation is what it is, friendly deals are the way to go. And so I believe that's the secret.
As you say, Banco Santander, as you inherited it, is pretty far flung. I mean, you've got, obviously, Spain, you've got Europe, you've got UK, you've got US, Mexico, Brazil. How much is that helping Banco Santander, that diversification?
So in today's economy, either you're large and you have global scale or you're very specialized. And we have the scale. We're one of the largest banks in the world by number of customers, 80 million. That's more than the number 1 and number 2 bank in the United States together. We have added 60 million customers in the last 10 years. And so, that scale, to benefit from that scale, to have the operating leverage, you need to work across the company. You cannot just work separately by business or by geography.
One of your goals has been efficiency, increasing the efficiency of the bank. How much success have you had? How much further can you take it?
We're only just scratching the surface of our potential as a group. We have Gravity, our core operating system. We have our payments core system, which is allowing us to reduce cost per transaction in the last few years by 1/3. What is now coming is what you as a customer are going to see, which is the open bank, the front end. This year we'll have flat to down cost and growing top line. And this should continue into the next few years. And again, organically, we're in markets with 1.2, 1.3 billion, where we are at scale in each one of them. And building our own platforms is something that very few companies have in the world today.
One of Santander's strongest verticals is its auto lending business, working with dealerships at 14,000 points of sale, as well as through its digital platform, Open Bank.
The last 2 years, delinquencies were very low during COVID, have normalized, so they have been going up. But our final loss rate is actually stable over the last 12 months. And consumers are actually, getting up to date on their loans, even though they get a bit behind, so the loss rates are stable. And we're not seeing anything right now that tells us the U.S. consumer, on average at least, is having any issues. It's very solid.
We see interest rates coming down in Europe now. What does that do to your bank and the banks generally?
So the way the terminal rate, and we can have a debate about what that is in Europe or in the U.S., given the size of and level of government debt, given demographics, defense spending, decarbonization, we don't see that rate being below 2% in Europe, or probably below 3% in the United States, something like that. And that is a very good level for banks, because it is high enough for us to have a margin, but not that high that it gets bad. Rates are at a level that I think will allow...
Did you order your pizza, Jibu?
...remain around 3% globally right now. By the way, that's not fast enough, but at least we're growing.
Regulation may be one thing holding down growth in Europe. In the last 6 years, the EU has added 13,000 new banking rules, while the U.S. came up with only 3,500.
Give us your sense of regulation of banks in Europe versus the United States.
Just the cheese pizza, or did you order sausage, or pepperoni, or ham, or chicken?
We do believe in smart regulation, but we've gone way too far on certain items like capital. Soundness of banks doesn't depend on capital, as we've seen. You know, if you look at the capital ratios of some of the banks that have problems, they're pretty high. And so we think, again, Santander, look at our CDS. It's one of the best in the world, including the best banks in the United States. Why? Because it's about a strong balance sheet, liquidity, scale, business model, etc. So, we have gone as far as I think we need to go on capital, and now we need to be supporting growth.
Mario Draghi came out with a famous report. What's been done with that report?
So if the ambition is very high, even if you don't get to that, you're going to do pretty big things. And so this is the thing in Europe. What is our ambition for growth? Mario Draghi gave us a diagnosis. How much have we executed? Not more than 10% in 1 year. So we have to have a much greater ambition on delivering on those recommendations. I've said it publicly, if taxes, every euro we make in Europe, 58 cents go to the government. Every dollar we make in the United States, 42. That's not a small number, but it's, significantly lower. So excess regulation, excess taxation actually is a tax on the economy and growth. At some point, people don't invest. So this is the balance we need to find. And Europe is getting further apart from the United States, not coming closer.
We also have regulation of banks at both the European level and member state level. To what extent do member states hold things back?
Well, and there's one thing you didn't mention. So there's the regulation, and then that's the level 2 and 3. Here in the United States, there's a lot of talk about the agencies. Clearly, there's work to do in the United States. In Europe, there's even much more work to do, right? And I showed at a conference on regulation, only financial services regulation without the rest of the interpretation of the rules, which is thousands more, 97,000 lines, which is 100 Don Quixotes. I showed it there. And so that is a second level. And then the third is what you say, which is the national rules and regulations.
How do you decide how to allocate your capital for growth? And to what extent is it affected by things like the relative difference in regulatory levels?
Well, that of course matters a lot, right? If other things equal, every dollar I put in Europe, 58 of the profit goes to the state and 42 in the United States. Well, Europe is going to have to give me higher growth or higher profitability or both for us, other things equal, to go there. So yes, it matters. It matters a lot.
There's innovation and creativity in Europe, entrepreneurship in Europe. Do the capital markets support it?
We have been pushing for a long time for capital markets union. We now have the savings union, which is not exactly the same, but it's going to be helpful. The reality is that most of SME commercial lending comes from banks. And that is why it's so existential and urgent that we increase the ambition for change. Because we will only be more competitive if there's more investment. This is coming from smaller and medium-sized companies, and a lot of that lending comes from the banks. And that's why capacity to lend has to expand. And that is what, again, regulation, smart regulation would be very helpful.
Is there any prospect of a unified banking regulatory system in Europe?
Well, how many years did it take to build the United States? 200? Europe, we've been going at this for 50 or 60 years. So it will happen. I'm not sure I will see it.
Up next, an aging population meets lower interest rates. It's a problem countries throughout the West are facing. We tell the story of what the Netherlands is doing about it.
You're listening to Bloomberg Wall Street Week with David Weston from Bloomberg Radio.
The data that matters for your investments.
Freedom speed for any energy stock out there.
And analysis on the companies making news on Wall Street.
I'm keeping an eye on Uber and Lyft.
Amazon getting some love. Listen to the Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg.
Nike shares are absolutely flying this morning.
It's your short audio report on the day's winners and losers in the stock market.
Let's take a look at the sectors and how they perform.
Subscribe to the Stock Movers Report on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Seeing through the eyes of experts gives you a better view.
Another big IPO hits the market.
Clearly, I've been screaming this intelligence chart.
And at Bloomberg, our market vision is 2020.
Stocks just keep moving higher. There's still supply chain issues out there.
The inflation debate continues. Bloomberg Radio. Context changes everything.
Bloomberg Radio brings you influential voices on the stories that matter. White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett.
If the president asks me to be Fed chair, then of course I'll do it.
Jensen Huang.
Technology is the single most important industry in America.
Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky.
Russia has to pay for this war. They began this war and they have to pay.
The names that matter on the news you need. Listen on Bloomberg 1130 or anytime on the Bloomberg Talks podcast.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. It's being called one of the biggest talent poaches since the peak of the streaming wars.
Our heads are in the guillotine.
Sources tell Bloomberg Taylor Sheridan, the TV and movie producer behind Yellowstone and Tulsa King, plans to join Comcast's NBC Universal when his contract with Paramount Skydance expires at the end of 2028.
Taylor Sheridan is the most successful and sought after creator in television today, right? Everything he's touched has worked, and he is prolific.
Bloomberg's Lucas Shaw, author of the Screen Time newsletter, says Sheridan will make movies for Universal Pictures as well as content for NBC and the Peacock streaming.
Maybe a bigger loss for Paramount than a gain for Universal, just because it's hard to overstate how important he's been for the streaming service. Other than football from CBS, like all of his shows are the most watched shows on that service.
The new contract will take effect in January 2029. Karen Moscow, Bloomberg Radio.
The next wave of opportunity isn't in yesterday's markets, it's in tomorrow's. Private assets are expanding fast. VanEck GPZ ETF gives you access to the public equities of top private asset managers across credit, equity, infrastructure, and real estate. Invest in the future of private assets today with GPZ. Investing involves substantial risk and high volatility, including possible loss of principal. Visit vaneck.com/GPZ radio to read and consider the prospectus containing the investment objective, risks, and fees of the fund carefully before investing. Get the news you need to start your day in just 15 minutes. Wake up with Bloomberg Daybreak U.S. Edition. Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Bloomberg Weather is brought to you by Unbound.org.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Now, your 3-day weather forecast on Bloomberg 1130.
Partly cloudy and windy through the evening and overnight hours tonight. Wind advisories are in effect until 1 a.m. Our lows will fall into the low 30s around the suburbs and upper 30s around the city. Partly to mostly sunny for Monday. Windy still with our highs in the upper 40s around the city. A touch cooler around the suburbs. We'll have plenty of sunshine for Tuesday, maybe just a few clouds in the area, 45 to 50. I'm Hannah Sheehy with your 3-day forecast on Bloomberg 99.1.
I'm Elton John. When he was just 13, my friend Ryan White was diagnosed with AIDS. This was 40 years ago. At the time, he was shunned and threatened by his community, yet his grace and determination to help change himself and all those infected with HIV was an inspiration. He is part of the reason I founded the Elton John AIDS Foundation. Since it began, the foundation has helped reach over 100 million people at risk of and affected by AIDS. Learn more at eltonjohnaidfoundation.org. Follow us at EJAF on Instagram.
Are you a wirehouse advisor that's looking to break away? Commonwealth Financial Network can help you take control of your career and build your business on your terms. Your clients. Strategy, your time. Unleash your entrepreneurial spirit and choose the growth path that's right for you. Own your future with Commonwealth. To learn more, visit commonwealth.com. Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Now, a sports update on Bloomberg 1130.
Giants blew another game in the fourth. This time at home, Packers rallied 27-20. Jameis Winston started. Jackson. Jets' Chris Boyd's in critical condition. He was shot at 2 a.m. in Midtown Manhattan. Nets lead Washington 63-53 at the break on the road. Michael Porter Jr. a game-high 19. Rangers and Red Wings scoreless at the Garden. Blue Shirts just 1-6 at home. That's your Bloomberg Sports Update. I'm Rob Bushka.
This is Bloomberg Wall Street Week with David Weston from Bloomberg Radio.
This is a story about nest eggs. Those nest eggs we're all supposed to be putting away for our retirement years, with or without the help of the government or employers. Unfortunately, too many of us count on support that may or may not be enough to carry us in our later years.
We have still 57 million Americans who don't have any savings or any retirement plan.
Whether it's state-funded pension plans for teachers and policemen or Social Security for everyone, we all know about the looming problems in providing adequate income for retirees in the United States. But it's not just the U.S. that has a problem.
Many countries make provisions for those promises, and now promises are being cashed in. And many countries are saying, oh, wait, we don't want to pay the bill.
Teresa Ghilarducci is professor of economics and policy analysis at the New School in New York and author of Rescuing Retirement with Tony James. The challenges faced by retirees around much of the world are reflected in higher poverty levels of those over 65, with the OECD reporting that 40% of the elderly in Korea live on less than half of the median income in the country, and the United States just under 25%. Ghilarducci says one of the reasons is lower interest rates.
The life expectancy does not put a strain on pension system, but what has changed is over the past 20 years, there was a regime of very low interest rates, for lots of reasons. One of them was the financial crisis. A lot of it was the way that we managed our economies was to make sure that capital investment was low. That distorted a lot of decisions, but one of those things that it distorted is that the safe assets like government bonds didn't pay as much.
The U.S. is hardly alone in facing the coming retirement crisis, but one country, the Netherlands, is doing something about it. Adrian Reicher's firm is those putting those funds to work.
In the Dutch pension system in the second pillar, there are around 1,600 billion euros of assets under management, which equates to around 1.52 times the GDP of the Netherlands.
That 1.6 trillion euros in Dutch pension assets accounts for 59% of all European pension funds, while having only 4% of the population, which means that it ranks near the bottom of the OECD numbers in elderly poverty at just under 5%. But despite having more assets set aside for retirement than any other European country, the Netherlands is about to overhaul the fundamentals of its pension system.
Now we are moving from defined benefits to defined contribution. And the reason for this change is mainly to increase the sustainability of the fund towards the future.
At first glance, the math seems straightforward. The old model wasn't sustainable. It was time for something new. But the debate over restructuring the system was anything but simple.
The private pillar is what is in the process of getting reformed now. That reform took a number of years to reach.
Yeah, I could not eat that much pizza.
Crisis when a number of Dutch pension funds saw the coverage ratio drop. It came to a conclusion sort of around
That was
the
it.
start of the pandemic when the shape of the current pension reform was decided upon.
Stan Boyger is a senior fellow in economic policy studies at the American Enterprise Institute and director of the Netherlands America Foundation.
That didn't mean, of course, that the political discussions around the reform completely. In the outgoing government, the 12th cabinet that was in place for the past year or so, there was one political party, the New Social Contract Party, that was
Usually I'm able to eat 4 slices.
to the
That's my regular diet. It's four slices. Sometimes I can eat 5 slices, but today I ate a little bit more than 5.5 slices, and that's it. I'm stuffed. I'm stuffed to the brim.
Defined benefit system, basically, or whether to accept transition to the new, more collective defined contribution system. That effort by them ultimately failed. It lost a vote in Parliament, but only barely. And I think that was really the end of political uncertainty around this pension reform. Not only because that vote failed, but also because the Trump government fell this summer. We had elections, and the party most associated with those efforts to basically undo the pension reform to a significant extent, that party lost all of its seats in parliament.
The Dutch pension plan changes may be controversial, but necessary, given the larger forces that all retirement plans in Western countries are facing.
The move to defined contributions is something that we see all across the globe. If we look at
I regret eating that last slice because I'm grotesquely full.
Pension advisors and actuaries are saying exactly these changes are not specific to just the Netherlands, but because we have such a large pension buildup, we have so much capital in the system, very high adequacy rates, it is very prevalent in the Dutch system. Since the global financial crisis, interest rates have been in steady decline because of monetary policy and because of the way pension liabilities are valued. They have a direct link with interest rates. And as interest rates decrease, the liabilities of pension funds increase and thus place a burden on the pension fund's sustainability. But also on top of that, you have longevity, which has increased amongst the participants. And coverage in the Netherlands of the second pillar pensions is very high. The way in the old system that we had, the way it worked is that employees would usually stay at the same firm that they started at or stay within the same industry and work until their retirement age. And if this happened, the current pension system was perfectly equipped for this. But now we see more people moving away from a lifetime employment and moving more into self-employment.
One way to address the increased number of people relying on their pensions amid lower interest rates might be to extend the time when people start receiving their benefits. But that is not the way the Netherlands chose to go.
The reforms mainly are in the way we invest and changing from defined benefits to only defining the contribution.
The Dutch system is designed to increase the size of the available pie by permitting pension asset managers to invest in higher risk and higher yield assets for younger workers with many years to go until their retirement.
You now go to a more individual approach with your collective investments in that you have to see what individual investors need at certain age groups. So for instance, a young person on average has less financial capital, but still has a lot of years to work in its career. And what that enables younger investors to do is to take on more risk, because the biggest determinant of capital buildup at a young age is the contributions you get each year. But as you near the end of your career, contributions become less of a big part, less of a big influence on the income that you will have on retirement. And the income or the focus shifts from contributions to investment results that should be stable and lower in shocks.
Whether permitting more flexible investments, particularly riskier ones for earlier in a worker's life, will work or not, it does relieve the pensions from facing obligations greater than their resources, but also means that one's benefits could go up or down depending on the markets. Getting people to agree to this big change took time and all the stakeholders working together.
One distinguishing feature of the Dutch system of policymaking is that there is a lot of focus on consensus building between employers and employees. Government. The fact that no one has these structures that facilitate the coming together of business and labor, I think is particularly helpful in the pension context. There are lots of political problems where there are all sorts of other stakeholders involved. But in the pension context, it really still is employers and employees who have to come together and reach agreement on how to design the pension system.
What can the rest of the world learn from the Dutch in providing for retirement? Perhaps a lesson in persistence. The most recent changes are just the latest in a series of attempts at pension reform. Go back to the 80s under Ronald Reagan, when they did take steps to try to extend Social Security. What made it possible then that doesn't make it possible now?
Well, what made it possible for a bipartisan
commission and a fifth to happen was that the crisis was only 1 year away. It had to do with surprise inflation and a surprise among the actuaries that they wouldn't have enough money in the shortfall. So money needed to be infused into the system immediately. And so the Greenspan Commission under the Reagan administration recommended that the payroll tax be increased. And everybody agreed. Later, when it came to Congress, there was some political effort to say, well, if we're going to raise taxes, we have to really look to see how much the taxes have to be increased. And so that's when they passed and said, well, since everybody's living longer, then we should have a system that represents that and will raise the retirement age to 67. But that cut and benefit was going to be in the future. And they all agreed they needed an infusion of cash and taxes were increased. Maybe that's what we need to raise taxes, is to have a real look at what taxes pay for. And everyone likes their Social Security benefits.
Whether it's relying more on the capital markets like the Netherlands or turning to taxpayers to contribute more, the United States and other Western nations have some tough choices to make, and they need to be made sooner rather than later as people live longer and we want to provide for them without stealing from the future. Coming up, getting to zero emissions despite those data centers. Finland leads the way.
You're listening to Bloomberg Wall Street Week with David Weston from Bloomberg
All right, I'm
Radio.
finished with this image.
Veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. How about a friend move? Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or you.
All right, we're going to go into the next broadcast.
There's no question about it. But we do have one question for the veterans listening.